Hey everyone, this is Nick with Us versus Herd. Today I'm going to go over one frequently asked question that I get a lot is how much money do I need to open up an account to trade options, or how much money do I need to trade options successfully? And if you go through a lot of different brokerages, there's a lot of different answers. Some of them don't even state what the account minimums are. Like E-Trade won't even say what your account minimum is for trading options and credit spreads and all that. They will say that there is a zero account minimum. Some of them have account minimums, but E-Trade is zero account minimum. But I'm going to go over some stuff really quick here. Some of the brokerages that we use here is TD Ameritrade. I have an account with them. I also have an account with Tastyworks that I started using at the start of this year, mainly because they've gotten a lot better and they have mobile apps now, and you could trade futures and all that. But anyways, TD Ameritrade, their account minimum, they'll say right here on the frequently asked questions page for opening account, is their minimum is there's no minimum to open the account. So this is just like, if you want to buy stocks or whatever, you want to buy and sell stocks, or you want to, I think pretty much just for stocks. Now they do say, however, a $2,000 deposit is required to be considered for margin option privileges. So if you don't know what margin is, you can look it up on Investopedia, but basically what margin gives you is credit. So if you have $2,000, TD Ameritrade will give you $4,000 to purchase stocks. And what you have to be careful about with that is, if you overextend yourself, and let's say, especially this happens a lot when trading penny stocks, people will trade penny stocks on margin, and then the trade goes against them, and then TD Ameritrade will send you a margin call and say, hey, you need to pay this much money before tomorrow's open. And then if you don't have the money, it gets bad quick. So don't trade on margin if you don't know what you're doing. And typically we don't really trade on margin. We just trade with the amount of cash that we have. And options trading is a little bit different for a lot of the things that we do, because we do a lot of credit spreads. We don't really do debit spreads. I don't really sell naked calls or naked puts, but basically credit spreads, you do need a margin account on most of them. I know TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, you do need a margin account for this. And as you can see here, it says and option privileges. So if you don't know, there's a lot of different option privileges. A lot of these people have, so TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, they have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, which gives you different sets of permissions. And if you want to be able to sell spreads, you typically need to have the highest level permissions, and that requires margin. Now, one thing I will say about Tastyworks that they have done, they took away some of the minimums for selling the credit spreads. I do have pulled up here. I don't know if you can see this, but they have three different kinds of accounts. They have the works, they have basics, and they have limited. And they have different ones. So limited, you can really only buy stock. You can't short stock. And you can't sell defined risk spreads, and that's what those are, is credit spreads. So that basically means you're buying one long and one short option, and I'll kind of walk you through that in a minute here. The basic one doesn't allow you to short stock either, but you can buy stock. And then but however, with the basic, it does allow you to sell defined risk spreads. They don't let you sell naked calls, but they do let you sell naked puts. So it's kind of interesting. I think Tastyworks is really the only one that, like, with a limited tier, will allow you to actually sell defined risk spreads. And then the works, they have the works, which is just like kind of like the highest level of permissions for everybody. But Tastyworks, their account minimum for a margin account, if you want to get the works, is $2,000, and then the rest, if you anything below that, it's a cash account you need. And it says here you need to have, let's see here, it says you must be able to cover your trade's full purchase price with the money already in your account. So I'll kind of go over what that means in a second here. And then the margin, that's why they say this is the most flexible types of accounts, because you can trade on margin if you want. Typically we don't, like I said before, but you need to. One interesting thing that you need here, it says you will need to maintain $2,000 in an account in order to retain full margin privileges. So $2,000 is the minimum. You need to maintain margin pretty much on all these platforms, E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Tastyworks, or any other brokerage. Typically, you need to maintain the $2,000 in your account to maintain margin. And if you deposit $2,000, and you lose and you go down to like 1900, you're instantly without margin. So typically I suggest people open up an account with 2500, 3000, 3000 or 4000. So some people don't have that much money, so try to do $2,500 to $3,000 for an account if you want to get full privileges, and that gives you some leeway. On your very first trade, if you bomb, you're going to want to not go under margin and lose those privileges. So open a little bit above $2,000. And if you're new to trading, don't start trading with $2,000. Open up a paper account with TD Ameritrade. For opening an account with Tastyworks, I will have a link below. If you're interested in Tastyworks, I will have a link below for you to open. But I'll kind of go through how certain trades are calculated. So I'll show you in Tastyworks, and I'll show you in TD Ameritrade. And let's just look at something with high AV today is Amazon. So we're going to look at a credit spread just so you can kind of get an idea of how much it costs to put a trade on and why that. Let's see here. So we're going to put a short put vertical on. Right now, currently it's trading at like 13.27.31. Market's closed, so the option prices aren't going to be moving. It's a little bit skewed as well. So the option prices aren't 100% true, but you'll get a good idea of kind of what's going on here. And what you can do here is kind of gauge here. Down here I have a max profit, max loss. So you're going to need to have the amount to cover the max loss in your account when you do a trade. So if you open up an account with $2,000 and you lose your first trade, let's say it's max loss, like something totally bizarre happens, some bad news came out overnight and you're at max loss. So you need to be able to cover that and still be within margin. As you can see here, we can go further out. So let's say you don't want to trade that close to the money. So if let's say you want to go one standard deviation out, and the options are going to be cheap here. Because this is just this weeklies, we can actually bump it up. Let's go up to like next month, so it's a better view. So let's say you want to go out to 32 days out. You'll see down here max loss is 155, max profit is $95. So you're going to need that $155 for you to cover. The other thing is they do have a capital requirement. So a lot of the times when you put a trade on, and let's go back to that. Let's say it's 155. Sometimes they'll say, hey, you need $200 or you need $300 to cover that trade. So if you go to capital requirement, the nice thing here in Tastyworks, they show you what the capital requirement is here. So let's pick Priceline. I'll put a trade on today, and my capital requirement is $500. So my max profit and loss here, well, I'm in the green 27. So let's actually go to this trade here that I put on. This is pretty close. I'm not up or down on that one. Actually, I like the table grid better than the curve look, but for the video, the curve looks pretty good. So I have this on right now. Let's go down to that. I'll kind of show you. Well, we'll do next week's options, so that way you get a better, because I already have a position on, so it's not calculating it correctly. So I have this position on right here. I actually got it for $1.33 or $1.31. It's $1.10, but I'll show you. So I put 2 on. It'll be pretty close. We'll be off by about $40. So my max loss on this was actually $320, and here it's $280. But just to give you an idea, so my max loss was $320, but my capital requirement is $500. So per option, so per option contract, my capital requirement is $250 for every option I buy through Tastyworks. They want it to be $250. I have one option spread through Netflix. That's why it's $250. And I think that TD Ameritrade is pretty similar. So yeah, I have in here. So I have an iron condor on for earnings today. Seems to be testing it a little bit, but as you can see here, I just have one contract here, and my capital requirement is $250, even though it's an iron condor. Same so if you go back to Priceline, you see I have 2 here. I have 2, so my capital requirement is $500. So when I go to sell that, they'll give me back my capital requirement. So my account value is going to be, they're going to be withholding that $500 from me. So that's kind of how it works. So, if you put on, let's say you have $2,000 and you put this Priceline trade on, you're only going to have $1,500 to trade with after you put this trade on. So just keep that in mind. So if you definitely want to be a little bit higher than the $2,000 mark if you want full permissions and full strategies. If you want to be able to sell credit spreads, if you want to be selling naked calls or naked puts, you're going to need more than $2,000. Now, if you're looking just to buy options outright, so let's say I want to go, obviously Priceline's pretty expensive, but let's go to something cheaper. Let's go to Netflix. Well, Netflix isn't a good example. Let's go to Twitter. So if you want to just buy options outright, and let's say I wanted to go long on Twitter today, is currently at 23.32, trading at 23.32, and I wanted to buy some weekly options here. I can buy this right here. So this would be me buying. So this would be a debit. So me buying it, I'd be going long on this call here. My max profit's unlimited because it's just a call. It can go, Twitter can go to $50, and I can make as much money as I let it. But my max loss is only going to be $37. So if you just have a cash account, and you're just looking to buy and sell options, we kind of mix up the strategies here where we buy calls and puts, but we also mix it with credit spreads. So if you only have $250 or only have $500, then you can buy options outright like this on pretty much any account that they allow you to. I don't know if TD Ameritrade will actually let you trade options with such small money, but E-Trade, if you look at E-Trade. E-Trade's account minimum. So actually, TD Ameritrade will open an account for $0. E-Trade's account minimum is $500. So you can't even. So on E-Trade, you need at least $500 to be able to buy options, and TD Ameritrade you could have zero. Granted, they give you the approval to just buy and sell basic options, so cash secured, and all that. So my recommendation: have more than $2,000. That way, you get pretty much all the option privileges, whether it's on TD Ameritrade or Tastyworks. I think E-Trade, you need $2,000 as well, but you'll want more than that. So I'm thinking $3,000 will get you there. If you have about $3,000, then you'll have full options. And if you're looking to just buy and sell, you can open up an account with TD Ameritrade or Tastyworks where they have zero account minimums. If you're looking to, but you're gonna have to be if you're just buying and selling puts, you're gonna have to be super selective because that's a losing strategy if you're just doing it. So you're gonna have to be super selective if you're just buying and selling outright. You're gonna have to be selective on your timing. You have to be selective on that. So that's why we kind of over here we mix credit spreads with buying and selling. And as you can see here, like on Alibaba today, I have a credit spread. But since it took such a large dip, I also have a call. So I have a credit spread on the puts, and then I have a call. So that's kind of how I work things here. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Hopefully I cleared some things up for you. If some things change, leave a comment below, and we can pin something to the top of the comment there. But like and subscribe to the video.